So, welcome to our new tutorial, guys. Last time we go through with our first program, Hello World program, and you get to know some things, some points that you should keep in mind while learning C++ language. So before proceeding to our next part, that is class and objects, first you have to understand these concepts like tokens, variables, and data types. What are these? How do they work? And what are the building blocks of C++ that you need to keep in mind? So let's start with this. The smallest individual unit in a program are known as tokens. The tokens are the keywords, identifiers, constants, strings, and operators. All C++ programs are written using these tokens. I mean, these tokens are the building block of C++ program. Okay, so what are keywords? The first thing that comes to your mind is, what are keywords? Keywords are reserved identifiers and cannot be used as names for the program variables. For example, like break statement, continue, static, default. So these are the identifiers which are well reserved and it is known to compiler. So when the compiler is compiling the code during execution of the program, the compiler get to know that these identifiers are in fact your keywords that you can't be used as variables or any other thing to indicate in your program. So keywords are the reserved identifiers that cannot be used and they are fixed. They are predefined in the compiler, like break, continue. Next, how these tokens are read in C++ program. So this is the basic structure of the compiler, how compiler works. If you understand this, you will understand the basic phenomena that compiler does in C++ programming. So these, as you can see, these are the memory blocks indicated in yellow color. These are the memory blocks in our memory. So these are divided into some blocks known as cells. How do the compiler just compile the code? For example, you write a code like int a equals 10 and your semicolon. So how compiler work? There are two pointers in compiler. One is base pointer and second pointer that moves. Okay, so your base pointer will be at the starting point of your string like I. Now compiler move forward and will read n, then t, then the white space, the blank area. Now the compiler get to know that int is in fact indicating integer, so that's a keyword. So in this way, the compiler get to know that int is a keyword that is predefined in the compiler and the value that will be stored in the variable a. A here is a variable. A is integer type. Then equals is your assignment operator. After that 10, that is 10, that is your constant, and your end of C++ statement. So this is the basic structure of C++ program compiler. This is the way a compiler reads the program and generates error if there is an error. So here you get to know if int, and if there is no blank space and there is a, then that means int is an integer, is a variable simply. That's not a keyword. That's why there is an importance of blank space, white space in C++ program. So what are variables? We all know variables are the identifiers or the things that hold the data, whose value keeps on changing. Yeah, in normal terms this is variable, but in technical terms its meaning is quite different. As we know, our computer memory is divided into small building blocks called cells, as I just showed you, and the address of the memory block is so tricky that it's so difficult to understand. Actually, I mean, the memory blocks is in thousands or in lakhs. So every memory block has its own unique address, and that is in the form of like this: 100 fx 333 124 kgs, and we don't know what that means. This is a machine learning process, and we don't know what is the memory, what is the address of the memory that is indicating to which memory. So in order to remember that memory, we just give it a name to it. So variables are the name that is given to this address of the memory so that it can be easily remembered to us. That's why the variable is the name of the address of the memory. It's not an identifier or something. It isn't a variable, is the name given to the address of the memory that holds the data. So how variables are assigned? Here we can see the building blocks of our memory, that is known as cell, indicated in purple color. Now these are known as cells. Okay, so here we can see the address of the memory. The address of the memory block is in the form of F12300X7TY. That is difficult to understand, and even every time we want to store a value in the memory block, we don't want to write again and again like F12300X7TY. So tricky now. So in order to simplify this address, we use variables like A, B, C. So in fact, the name A, B, C is the name of the address of the memory block that is indicating to a memory location. So that's why whenever we write int A equals 10, that means our variable A, that is in fact the address of the memory, will store an integer type value whose value is equal to 10. So this is how variables are assigned. Now, what are data types? A data type simply means type of data. Simply, what type of data is stored. Now, a variable hold what type of data is termed as data type. Here again, there are building blocks of our memory, that is cell. Now, suppose we assigned a variable to that memory. Suppose A, B something, or C, whatever you want, and we are given a value that is 10. So the type of value that it will store, the type of data the variable will store, is termed as data type. So there are many data types like integer, which holds integer value, float, decimal value, double, character. So there are tons of data types. So this is what data type is all about. Now, what are constant? Tokens that do not change their value. Their value remains same throughout this life cycle, like 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. It means the value during the execution of the program will not change. These are known as constant. So whatever we have just learned will be used in our C++ program, and this is a basic thing that an interviewer will ask you during your job interview or any profile you are looking in software development. So these are the basic concept that you should keep in your mind, and then we'll proceed next. And our next topic will be classes and objects. So if you like this video, please like it, subscribe it, and please comment below if you want to learn new thing that you didn't understand in this tutorial. So please let me know. Thank you. We'll meet in the next tutorial.